Hi everyone, I'm just setting up, so I'm 3 minutes early. I'm just making sure that this is all working. Have my laptop here. Give me 2 seconds. Yes, I can see. Amazing. Fabulous. So I've got my laptop here just in case anyone pops on. Now I realise that this is an impromptu workshop, but for those of you who know me and have been in my world long enough, when something like urges me and I don't move with it immediately, the momentum gets lost. Okay, so this afternoon I was working on a human design PDF, and if you are on my email list or my Substack or in my school group, you will already have access to that. So it's an incredible human design resource that basically makes it effortless to read your human design chart. So go and check that out. So as I was creating that, I was like, I wanted to share something. I wanted to create something. I wanted to create a workshop, and I have mentioned this before, where I said I might be, popping in to do a workshop, and the urge came, and it was an identity workshop, and I quickly made my notes of my download, and I quickly set up the event. So amazing for those who are here. Hi, whoever's watching. I can't see names, but I can see on my laptop that 3 people are watching. That's amazing, and I'm sure more people would join when Facebook does its thing and lets people know that I'm live. Okay, so the purpose of this workshop, and this is a workshop, so grab a pen, grab paper, get your human design chart ready so you can access it. The intention of this session is that by the end of the session, you have absolute clarity on why your life is the way that it is. So why you've got the dissatisfaction, where you've got the frustration. It could be money flow. You could be experiencing a block around your money. It could be business. Hi, Lenka. It could be your business. It could be launching something. It could be relationships. It could be just general dissatisfaction with life, okay? And by the end of this workshop, you will have clarity on why that has taken place. And you'll also understand what needs to happen for that to shift, okay? I am back. The internet is really crap at the moment. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's still okay here. Yeah. So if it glitches in and out, we'll just, go with it. It is what it is, okay? But by the end of the workshop, that's the aim. That's my intention, is for you to have clarity around why the life is the way that it is, why things are happening the way that they are, why you have these cycles, patterns, etc., etc., etc. So I'll just give you another 30 seconds to just grab a pen, grab paper, because there is a practical aspect to this workshop that you can participate in. And if you're watching on replay, just pause, grab a paper, grab pen, notebook, whatever, and make sure that you've got access to your human design chart, okay? Because we're going to reference that. It's all about the deconditioning of our human design, which is ultimately our highest identity, our highest energetic edge. So, where to begin? Now, human design is not my only professional training. I also studied cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, EMDR, EFT, child psychology, adult psychology, trauma healing, all the things, right? And one thing that really stuck with me out of everything that I have learned over the last decade of learning, being certified, being immersed in this, one thing that really stuck, that just really helped me to understand and simplify why life is the way that it is, was a neuro-linguistic programming concept called the neurological model of change. Now, some of you may have heard of this before, and essentially there are 5 things that you can change in your life that will affect a transformation. Okay, so one of the things you can change is your environment. Another thing is you can change your habits, you can change your skills, you can change your beliefs, and you can change your identity. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted because my laptop keeps making a funny noise. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me just turn that off. So let me go through those again. And on your sheet of paper, I want you to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the fifth thing that you can change is the environment. The fourth thing is habits. The third thing is skills. The second thing is beliefs. And the first thing is identities. So this is the neurological model of change. These 5 things in your life, when you change them, will lead to a transformation. Okay? But not all are equal. So you have a lower power things that you can change. So your environment, your habits, your skills are considered lower power. So when you change your environment, it's not going to result in a significant transformation, okay? Because these are lower powered changes. If you change your habits, you know, you might think changing a habit's going to lead to a significant change and transformation, but it doesn't. Skills, exactly the same. These are lower power changes that you can make. Now, higher power changes are beliefs, which is number 2, and the highest power is identity, okay? So when we are looking at this model, that your environment, you can change your environment, but it will not impact your habits, it will not impact your skills, it will not impact your beliefs. I'm back. So when you change these lower power things about your life, it doesn't affect the higher frequency, the higher power things that you can change. So it doesn't impact your identity, it doesn't impact your belief system, it doesn't impact your skills, your habits, okay? But when you change your identity, it changes everything. When you change your beliefs, it changes everything. So the most powerful thing you can do when it comes to experiencing a personal transformation is to go straight to number 1, the identity piece. Now, your identity, or the I am, or how you are perceiving your yourself, your self-perception, becomes the energetic lens of which energy flows through to create your external reality, okay? So an identity is a self-perception that activates an emotion that motivates a behavior or an action that leads to the outcome of your life. So if you have an identity of, I am poor, you're going to feel an emotion around that. Okay, so whatever that emotion is going to be like dread, anxiety, sadness, frustration, depression. And that emotion is going to motivate a behavior that is going to lead to an outcome. So if you've got the identity of, I am someone who is poor, or I am someone who struggles with money, or I am somebody who finds money difficult, or I'm someone who is always struggling to make money, or I am somebody who finds it hard to make money, these beliefs, this self-perception is going to trigger an emotion which is going to result in an outcome, which is going to be the reality that you experience. Always. Okay? Now, when we hold an identity, the way our brain is, so let's just do like a dummy's guide to psychology, because I don't like to confuse people and it's unnecessary to dive into the depths of the psyche. When we create an identity, okay, so an identity is created, a self-perception is created when we perceive ourselves in a way that triggers an emotional response, an emotional reactivity, okay? And that emotional reactivity leads to a consistent behavior, right? So when we see ourselves and we are looking in the mirror and we're like, oh, I'm just not good enough, or I'm just not worthy, and we're feeling that emotion, and then we have this consistent behavior in response to that particular identity, we create the identity. And in that moment, we collapse all other possibilities. And this is really important to understand. We can't hold an identity of being worthy as well as an identity of not being worthy. So how the brain functions is, the brain has billions of pieces of information to process in any given second. So you do a great job by helping your brain understand how to navigate life, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive life. And you do so by responding to possibilities, to like I am concepts. I am abundant, I am worthy, I am not worthy, I am amazing, I am not amazing, I am incredible, I am not incredible. So when you are responding to these potential concepts with an emotion and a consistent behavior, you are reinforcing an identity, and all other identities collapse. So therefore, that's the only possible outcome that you can experience until you change your identity. Just let that sink in. And this is why, like, basic bitch personal development is just not enough. You know, we can't have an identity that is rooted in a lack of self-worth and have feelings and emotions about that identity and have a consistent behavior in response to that identity whilst manifesting millions of pounds. Because the identity of a millionaire has collapsed. It's gone off the table. The only identity that's there is the identity of somebody who's not worthy of money, not worthy of being valued, not worthy of being respected, not worthy of being, you know, viable in the world. So it's really important that we use human design to uncover the identities that are keeping us out of energetic alignment. All of these not self identities, and the not self identities live in our open centers. We absorb other people's identities and they live rent free in our energetic body, and we identify with them, and therefore we experience an effect of them. So if you come from a family who do not have, and I keep referencing money because everyone can relate to money, but this relates to all things. This relates to the relationships that you have with other people. This relates to how successful your business is. This relates to how many people are signing up and paying for your services. This relates to how many opportunities are knocking on your door. It's all down to the identity that you hold about yourself, and all of our identities collapsing in the meantime. So it's the reason that you end up in this state of, like, this is what I truly desire at a conscious level, but this is the shit that I keep creating at an unconscious level, is because you haven't yet built the identity that is in alignment with the conscious desires. So if you desire to experience energetic alignment and you're looking at your human design chart and you're like, wow, and I'm an amazing projector and I'm not here to do, I'm just here to be, and I need to be in my receiving energy, yet you get up and get out of your house every single day and you hustle and grind and work and push yourself to your limits, you can't experience energetic alignment because your identity is that of hustle. So it's really really powerful, and that's why I love the neurological model of change, because it just shows us so easily you can change your environment, but your environment is not going to change your identity. You can change your habits, but your habits is not going to change your identity. You can change your skills, but it's not going to completely change your identity. You can change your beliefs, but it's not going to change your identity, because you can consciously believe something and also unconsciously believe something else. And 90% of our identities are held in the unconscious. So our conscious awareness is motivated by expansion and adventure and growth. And our unconscious is motivated by keeping us alive, surviving, right? So your unconscious is going to preference known identities that you have survived so far. So you've survived the identity of I am worthless. You've survived the identity of I'm not enough. You've survived the identity of I'm incapable. You've survived the identity of I'm not going to be a success. People are not going to invest in me. You've survived all of these identities. So therefore they are safe to your unconscious awareness. They are safe to your brain. And they are the lens of which you are experiencing an effective life through. because you've survived them. And generally our conscious desires are not yet experienced. So therefore our brain perceives them as not yet safe. So that's why we end up in this resistance of, I really want the successful business, or I really want the abundant bank account, or I really want to make transformation and impact and change around the world at a conscious level. But at an unconscious level, we have identities living there that contradict that and make it impossible until we work on the identity. Okay. So what I want to do is go through all of the open centers. We'll start at the root, and this is where I want you to grab your pen. And I just want you to tap into the identity that lives there. And every statement that you're going to make as we go through the centers is going to begin with an I am. Okay. I am somebody who. So when it comes to the root center, so this is all about pressure, timing. And when you've got an open root center, it's like running out of time, never got enough time. You're either in that like reactive life's, I have to get everything done now. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of options. I'm running out of opportunities. Or you are in that procrastination phase of, I am overwhelmed by life. I am struggling to understand what the next step should be. So when it comes to your root center, if you have it open, what are the identities living there when it comes to pressure, stress, and moving, starting things, okay? Beginning things, creating things. So it could be something along the lines of, I am somebody who doesn't cope with stress. I am somebody who finds stress unbearable. I am somebody who can't deal with pressure. I am somebody who doesn't like to be pressured. I am somebody who just doesn't start things. I am somebody who's lazy. I'm somebody who procrastinates. I am somebody who doesn't trust divine timing. So write it down. What is the identity that lives in your open root center if you have it open? And then spend a second just being with that identity and notice the emotion behind that. So if you have the identity of, I'm someone who doesn't cope with stress. Okay. This used to be one of my old identities, and it used to evoke an emotion of incapability. I'm just an incapable person. Okay. And that used to motivate a behavior or an action. Okay. And behavior or action is also non-action. So I would procrastinate. I would not get up and do things. I would do all the research. I would do all the background, but I would never like set the, fire the gun, move forward, begin the things. I would leave everything till the last minute. Okay. So with that open root center, what is the identity that's living there? What is the emotion, and what are the common behaviors that you experience? And I'm going to go through all of the centers on this call, but I encourage you to sit with this after and dive deeper into creating absolute clarity around why you are experiencing life the way you do. So if you've got an identity in that open root center that says, I am someone who doesn't cope with stress, and that leads to feelings of anxiety, fear, not feeling safe, and that leads to behaviors of hiding, procrastinating. How is that impacting your life? How are you experiencing your life? The next one is the solar plexus. So if you've got this open, this is where we are avoiding truth, and we are people pleasing, and we are telling people what they want to hear because we don't want to upset them, and we are running away as fast as we can, right? This is where you are absorbing the emotions of others times 100. So a lot of the identities here are, I am too much for people. I am emotionally volatile. I am bipolar. I am bad for feeling a certain way. I am someone who upsets other people. I am somebody who doesn't like confrontation. I am somebody who doesn't speak the truth in case it hurts people's feelings. Okay. I am somebody who's responsible for managing everyone's emotions. The ultimate core belief here is, I am somebody who, if I upset people, I'll be abandoned. They will abandon me. That's the ultimate core wound shadow here with this open solar plexus. If I upset people, I'll be abandoned. So I am somebody who has to not upset people, because if I upset people, I will be abandoned. Okay. So just spend a minute, if you've got the open solar plexus, and ask yourself, what is the identity there? What is the identity? What is the emotion that comes with that? So if you are like walking on eggshells around somebody, and you're people pleasing, and you're sacrificing your own needs to make other people happy, what is the emotion there? You can feel resentment. You can feel invalid. You can feel, not considered. You can feel fearful. You can feel anxious. You can feel humiliated. If you live in quite an emotionally volatile energy, and you're absorbing that and mirroring that, and you are being emotionally volatile yourself, I am someone who is like mental. I am somebody who is not able to handle their emotions. So what is the identity there for you? What is the emotion that evokes? And what are your common behaviors when this story plays out? Because that is the reality that you're creating. A lot of entrepreneurs with an open solar plexus don't create traction in their business because their messaging's not authentic, because they're overthinking it, and they are saying what they think is going to be received well rather than speaking their truth. Okay, the next one is the sacral. I'm just looking at my notes that I made here on my laptop in case you wonder why I'm not looking at the screen. The sacral, okay, so this is about life force energy, creative expression. This is where when you have it open, you feel this need to, if I'm not working, if I'm not keeping up with everybody else, I'm either wasting life or I'm not enough. So I am what I do. So you start to measure your output with your self-worth. So if I am not able to keep up with everybody else, there's something wrong with me. If I am not able to produce what everyone else does, I am lazy. If I am not able to keep up, I am broken in some way. There is something wrong with me. If I am not busy all of the time, I am useless. I am being useless. I am not able to activate creativity. I'm always exhausted. I am always mentally drained. I'm speaking from personal experience here. So if you've got an open sacral, what is the identity? So if you have the identity of I am what I do, and you're not able to do a lot, how does that make you feel? What is the emotion that's evoking there? And then what's the action? So a lot of behavior around the open sacral is to burn themselves out, to hustle, to try and keep up, to make themselves ill. So what is the experience? So keep thinking with all of these centers, my I am, my self-perception, plus my emotion, plus my behavior or response to the emotion equals my reality. So again, entrepreneurs, if you are a projector, manifestor, or a reflector, and you've got that open sacral, and you're looking at all the generators pumping out 50 courses, 50 workbooks, 50 webinars, having 10 clients a day, and you're creating an I am not as good as them. I am not ever going to experience financial success like them. I am different to them. There's something wrong with me because they are all busy, booked, busy millionaires living their best life, and I am not able to keep up with that. And the identity, our self-perception, is reaffirming our reality. So it goes in a circle. So we have the identity that I am not enough. We feel the emotion, we behave, which reinforces the identity. Then we feel the emotion, then we behave, we reinforce the identity. So every time we are responding in the same way, with the same behavior and the same choices and the same actions, we are reinforcing that identity, we are giving it power. And then our conscious awareness is trying to create something else. So unconsciously, we're burning out. We're not feeling as good as everyone else. But at a conscious level, it's like, I've got dreams. I've got big dreams. I want to work with all of these people. I want to do these magnificent things. But unconsciously, it's like, I am exhausted because there's something wrong with me because I can't keep up with everyone else. But it's the unconscious identity that is creating your reality. So you end up in a state of frustration because your conscious dreams can't be fulfilled because your unconscious identity is creating your reality. Next one is the spleen. Obviously, the open spleen is all about holding on to things that are not good for you, staying in patterns, staying with the same program in your business, not pivoting, flogging a dead horse, staying in relationships, staying with the same audience and trying to like get them to buy from you, even though they're the wrong audience. It's like, I will get them to buy from me. I will get them to buy from me, rather than like expanding into new pastures, speaking to new clients, expanding your audience. And there is an element of toxicity around this as well. So it's like you are so disconnected from your intuition and in a stress responsive fight, flight, or freeze, that your business, your situation, your money, your relationships are coming from an unconscious trauma response place all the time. So with the open spleen and with all of the open centers, when we are in the not self, we are triggering our stress response. So when we are, staying in a pattern because we are terrified of what's over the fence. We are terrified of new things. We are terrified of change because that's the patterns here. We live in this state of fight, flight, or freeze. We live in the stress response. So connecting to our intuition becomes unavailable to us. Connecting to even the logical mind becomes unavailable to us. We are literally operating on a limited from a limited part of our brain. That was me 10 years ago. My spleen's wide open. I've only got gate 57. And I used to be terrified of everything. Terrified of the future. Terrified of failing. Terrified of being judged. Terrified of getting it wrong. Terrified of messing up. Terrified of forgetting things. Terrified of letting people down. Terrified of people not seeing my value. Like, literally fight in a state of freeze, like I don't know what to do. But my conscious awareness was like, yeah, but we want to do all these things, we want to create this business. And my unconscious identity was like, I cannot put one foot in front of the other because I'm terrified and I'm in a state of freeze right now. So therefore, that was the effect. That was the business I created. It froze. There was no momentum. The business froze. So again, what is the identity in the open spleen? Then we've got the open will center. Oh my God, the identities here are ridiculous. I've got a defined will. I am honestly considering doing a PhD in the open will center because I think, 70% of the world have an open will center. The shadows here are ridiculous. They are very limiting. They take the loveliest of person. They will turn Snow White into Cruella de Vil, like in the shadow. The most heart-centered person, when they are activated with the not self shadows of the open will, turn into the ultimate villain. It's like there's a weird energy. It's all about proving your worth. Proving your worth by proving yourself, to your family, to your friends, to your colleagues, to strangers, and you become obsessed and fixated on it. So the business no longer is about doing good in the world, and it's about proving you can get clients. So the money is no longer about having financial freedom, being liberated, and it becomes about, I'm going to prove to you I can make money. It's going into that. So these are identities like, I am only worthy if I'm successful. I am only worthy if and also success is relative. Like, what do you perceive as successful? So I am only worthy if I've got 20,000 followers on Instagram. I am only worthy if I've got 50 likes on my latest blog post. I am only worthy if, so what is that? And sit with this. If you've got an open will center, spend the most time on this center. It's the smallest center with the biggest power. The solar plexus is the most powerful center, followed by the will center in terms of how much it influences. Okay. So that explains to you the grasp and the grip that these not self patterns can have in the open wheel and the open solar plexus. I'm just moving my leg because it's gone dead. Okay. So this is, I am what I earn. I am what I promise. I am what I achieve. I am what praise I get. I am what testimonies I get. I am how much money I have. I am how many sales I get. I am how many people sign up for my freebie. I am, you know, my worth is connected to my bank balance. So if your bank balance is minus £500, I am not worthy. I am only worthy when I have money. I am only worthy when people value me and respect me. I am somebody who strives to be accepted. I am somebody who strives to be recognized. Okay. I am not enough unless I fight for it. I am only worthy if I help as many people as I can. So you will look at behaviors with all of these I am identities where you are overextending yourself. You are overpromising and under-delivering. You are overgiving and self-sacrificing. Like self-sacrifice is huge here. And also, I am somebody who doesn't see the value in others. So I shared a post in my business group today, and it basically was just a little sentence that said, the reason why you're not getting sales is because you are seeing your audience through your own lens, your limited lens. So, you know, I've got clients who'll say to me, nobody's signing up for things, but yet they really struggle with an investment. Or they'll go for like the most extended payment plan, or they'll just not invest whatsoever. So therefore they perceive their audience that way. And self-perception plus emotion plus behavior equals outcome. So if you are perceiving your audience as people that are not going to invest, what's going to happen? They're not going to invest. So that's the ego. Then we have the G center. So the G center, when it's open, you are seeking validation. You are searching for love. You are searching for a sense of purpose. You are searching for an identity. So I am who you want me to be. I am who others need me to be. I am only loved when I am giving people something. You know, one of my family members always gives gifts, and from an energetic perspective, I know there's a little element of resentment under that gift giving, because the gift giving is not coming from heart, it's coming from desiring to be loved. So open G center people are always given gifts. And it's not that they're mean having the resentment. It's just energetics. Like if I didn't feel like I love myself, I have a defined G center. I love myself. Take me or leave me. I'm very consistent with people. I'm very self-aware. I know where I'm headed. And I don't need to give gifts to have people love me. Like love me or don't love me. But when the open G center is active and operating from its shadows, it's all about what can I do in order to get that love from the other person. What can I do? Can I give them a gift? Can I overextend myself? Can I change myself? Can I completely throw my values out the window to match theirs? Can I behave in a way that's going to help them and self-sacrifice me? And then also seeking, like I am lost without people. Like when you've got an open G center, you attach your identity to your partner. There are people around the world married to people that they don't even love with the open G center, but without them, what's their identity? There are people in jobs with titles like PhD and, you know, doctor. Doctor is a big one for the open, like titles. Trying to think of some other titles I can't think right now, like masters, you know, and you do different things and you add the title, because that title gives them a little bit of respite from the, oh my God, I don't know who I am, I don't have an identity, and they'll cling on to these identities even if they're not healthy. They're hanging on to that identity because it stops that feeling of falling down Alice's hole Alice in Wonderland grasping at the vines, like, I don't know who I am, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know what I like, I don't know what I don't like. You know, it prevents that, because immediately they can hook into, but I'm a doctor, or I'm the wife of this person, or, you know, I had a friend who was married to a bank manager, and she used to refer to herself as the bank manager's wife. And it used to like make me chuckle a little bit. And she used to love parking. Like, we would go for coffee in the town, and she would always park, and it would have a little plaque in this car park, like bank manager, bank clerk, bank manager's wife. She had the plaque made so she could park there. And they ended up getting divorced, and she completely spiraled. Like, she lost all control, all, you know, she was completely helpless, hopeless. Who the hell am I? She went through a million identity crises. She had tattoos. She changed her hair color a million times. She changed her dress code a million times. Like, one minute she was really bohemian and hippie. Then the next she was like really young and cool and trendy and wearing the Converse shoes. And it was just going through that process of living in the not self shadows of feeling like you need to have that consistent identity. So I am unlovable unless I adapt. I am defined by my relationships. I am defined by my environment. I am defined by what other people need from me. I am unlovable unless I am giving gifts. I am unlovable unless I am sacrificing myself. So what is the identity there for you? And again, same process. Look at the identity, look at the emotion that evokes, and then tap into the consistent behavior that's keeping that identity at play. So if you are somebody who is, I am unlovable unless I am pleasing others, and that evokes an emotion of like panic, like I've got to please others, so therefore you start being giver of the air, it only reinforces that initial identity. I am lovable unless I'm pleasing others. Feeling panic or fear, anxiety, giving of the air reinforces. Okay, so it goes in a loop. Okay, so then we've got the throat center. I've got an open throat. This was like the open root and the open throat were hilarious for me when I was like diving into my deconditioning, because I can talk for England about nothing. And now I see it as a gift, because I just talk until I'm activated, and then I'm channeling and I'm sharing and it's coming through me. Where in the past, I used to bully myself about it and be like, oh, you waffle on, or you say the stupidest of things, or, you know, really bullying. But here we are looking at the shadows and the identities associated with, if I don't say something, then like, no one's going to see me. I'm invisible. Like, nothing I've got to share is of value. People just don't get me. And also the pressure, right? So I watch this in my child with an open throat, and they cannot keep a secret. And it's so funny to watch, because somebody will tell them something and the pressure in the throat is like, tell someone else. Like, it's a pressure to speak. So you end up blurting things out. So you can create the identities of like, I am only valuable when people hear me. I have to be the loudest voice in the room. You know, I am invisible unless I am the loudest voice in the room. I am a waffler. I am always saying silly things. I am always embarrassing myself when I talk. Like, these were mine. I am invisible unless I perform. Like, the open throat center has a bit of a circus clown vibe as well, like making everyone laugh, putting on the act. And ultimately it's about, if I'm not expressing myself, I don't matter. So I am someone who doesn't, when they don't express themselves, I don't matter. So you just talk for the sake of talking. So what are the identities that are living there for you? What is the emotion that evokes? What is the consistent behavior that's holding it in place? Then we've got up here, so the Ajna and the crown. So we'll start with the Ajna. So this is someone who is desperately seeking certainty, and is always like, can't just be, when you're in the shadow of the open Ajna, you can't just not know. Like, it will drive you to mental anxiety. Like, I've got to figure it out. I've got to get it right. Okay. Or the other side of that is, I need to be certain, so I'm going to pretend that I'm certain. So I'm going to like follow the latest trend and back it full-heartedly, or I'm going to dive headfirst into a specific religion and just be like, this is it. There's no other religion for me. Or I'm going to get involved in this cult, or I'm going to, you know, follow this belief system to the T, even though I don't truly believe it, but it's going to have people think I know what I'm talking about, or have people think that I'm certain. Okay. So this is like identities, like I am not smart enough. I am someone who doesn't know. I am someone who doesn't have clarity. I am someone who's confused. I am someone who needs to find the answers. I am somebody who needs to get it right. I am somebody who's perceived as stupid. Like open ajna versus defined ajna is like right brain versus left brain. Open ajna is abstract. Defined ajna is logical. So of course there is an element of energetic intellect that's different, but when you don't have that, you miss it, you crave it, you feel like you're lacking it. So you can feel that you're not as intellectual as the defined ajnas. So I am someone who's not as intellectual. I am someone who's not knowledgeable. I am somebody who just doesn't have the answers. I am somebody who forgets everything. So like, what is the identity here, and what is the emotion that evokes? So there's a lot of anxiety in the open ajna, a lot of anxious, which again is triggering your stress response. It's shutting down your intuition. It's shutting down logic, and it's going to result in behaviors that are knee-jerk and ill-informed. And that is going to be the reality that you experience. And then finally, we have the head center, the crown center. Okay. So this is basically, the crown center triggers the ajna interaction. So the crown center asks like, why? Or how can we solve this? And then the ajna gets triggered by that question and tries to find the answer. Okay, so they kind of work in tandem together. But essentially, when you have the open crown, the shadow here is trying to solve the problems of the world. So you'll be on Facebook scrolling, trying to find Donna who's gone missing in Brisbane, even though you're in the UK, reading all of the comments like, can't sleep because I don't know where Donna is, even though you don't know who Donna is, and you're not even in Australia. It starts in childhood, actually. If you've got an open crown, it starts with you trying to solve the problems of your parents, especially if they were open around their struggles, and you really tap into even the struggles that are unspoken. You take responsibility for solving other people's problems. So I am only valuable if I have the answers. I am overwhelmed by my own curiosity. Like when you've got an open crown, I have an open crown. You could sit and brainstorm all day long. You could brainstorm yourself to death. I am scattered unless I'm solving something. I am only valuable when I'm solving problems. So essentially, you're looking at identities that are rooted in the responsibility of solving the problems. Like, I am responsible for the world's problems, and I am not going to rest until they are solved. And I am somebody that has to take responsibility for everyone else. I am somebody that has to take responsibility for everyone else's problems. I am somebody that has to take responsibility for finding the solution to the world's problems. Now, in an entrepreneurial arena, my open crown is my best asset because it's where all of my ideas come from when I'm working with clients one-to-one. But when we invert this and live in the shadow frequency and have no awareness that this is taking place at an unconscious level, we can experience a lot of mental anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of mental overwhelm, a lot of mental exhaustion when we're opening the crown or the ajna or both. So again, think about the emotions here. So anxiety, fear, these emotions are the key emotions that are triggering the stress response in our nervous system, which pushes us into flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. So we're either freezing, we are fighting, being reactive, knee-jerk reacting, we're fawning, people-pleasing, or we're hiding. And in a state of stress response, we are not able to access our highest potential. We are not able to access even common sense. And if you are repeatedly reinforcing these identities, you will find yourself living in a constant state of stress response. So looking at that now and understanding, and just to recap, there are 5 things that we can change that affect transformation in our life, right? The most powerful thing we can change is our identity. Second is our belief system. And when we change our identity, we automatically change our belief system. We automatically change our skills. We automatically change our habits. We automatically change our environment. So it's not enough to just take yourself out of a situation. It's not enough to just change your environment. It's not enough to break a habit. It's not enough to learn a new skill. And it's not enough to entertain new beliefs. Sustainable, energetic alignment and embodiment lives in a shift in identity at an identity level. And your identity is formed when you entertain a concept, a self-perception. And all self-perceptions are neutral until you emotionally respond to them. There are people in the world that don't care if they feel worthy or not. There are people in the world that are really deeply traumatized at the thought of not being enough. So it's all based on our personal perception of these different ways that we can see ourselves, these different self-perceptions floating around in the cosmos. We like pull them in, we experience them through emotion, and therefore we are motivated into a behavior. And if we continually keep pulling it in, experiencing it through emotion and following the same consistent behavioral response pattern, it becomes a solidified identity, and all other identities are off the table. That is why you cannot be in alignment whilst living in not self identities. That is why you cannot hear your inner authority when it comes to human design when you are in not self identities. Because 9 times out of 10, those not self-identities are triggering the stress response and putting you in flight, fright. Why do I keep saying fright? Flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. And in that space, you can't. It's like your brain collapses down. You get access to a small little piece versus the big picture, and also the collective consciousness as well. It all collapses. So this is why you are finding it hard to move forward, to break the cycles, break the patterns, experience the change, experience the transformation, because you are not creating space to rebuild new identities and collapse existing identities. And that is the work that we do in the Inner Alchemy. So the whole process, we've got another intake on the 1st of September. It's a 4-month process. And we start with the crown and the root, which is the 2 pressure centers at the bottom of the top. And we work our way through all of the centers until you are building identities that are going to result in an outcome of what you desire to experience in life. And we've got a group of people that are going through it right now, and the results have just been phenomenal. We've had a lady, incredible, Kerry. She's a VA in Australia. If you need a VA services, go and check her out. I'll put the details below. She launched a business, and it sounds like nothing, but for this particular person, it was the biggest quantum leap. And not only did she launch her business, she sold out. She's fully booked. You know, and when now working on recalibrating her pricing and the process and, you know, how it's going to work. But she took that massive quantum leap thanks to rearranging her identities. We have another member, Elvin, who's amazing, who is also a human design guide around creating your business, etc. He has gone from desiring to live in Thailand and to be like laptop lifestyle to securing 12 months in Thailand, selling his flat, working with, you know, incredible business person over there, almost having an established business ready for him to just step into. And everything has been built on an identity shift. So in the Inner Alchemy method, we don't just bibbity bobbity boo ourselves into transformation. We actually go into the deepest understanding. So it's really important for your brain to understand what is about to take place. So we dive into the conscious creation process, so you have absolute clarity on that. And then you are guided through embodiment sessions that feature the inner alchemy method, which is a process. And you get access to that process to do in your free time, when you are feeling challenged by something, when you are struggling to connect or create or follow through on a desired identity. You've got these tools at hand. Plus you have embodiment live group embodiment sessions as well. Plus every single month you have a conscious creation session with me. So I'm just reiterating the process of collapsing an old identity and rebuilding a new one over the 4-month period. And you have your embodiment sessions twice a month, live group sessions. There's a Facebook group, and you have self-processing tools as well. So it really leads to sustainable shift in your identity. And it's like this process, you know, I mentioned at the very beginning that I've studied all of these things and have all of these certifications, and I've been on probably every manifestation program out there. And it wasn't until I basically stopped, took a step back, tapped into what was coming in my awareness, and the neurological model of change was the thing, human design, knowing about energetics and how to shift an embodiment. And the inner alchemy method is born from, you know, my experience of this. So this has been my living, breathing state of being for the last 12 months. And I've experienced an effect of this over and over and over again. So every time I'm faced with a challenge in life, or I want to change something about my life, or you know, something is not working and I want to look at the identity that's creating that, I know exactly how to do it. I know exactly how to create that sustainable shift. And you will too when you join the Inner Alchemy Method. We start on the 1st of September. So I'll pop some details in the group. And if you want to jump on a call with myself or Natalie, Natalie's probably more available than me at the minute, because my children are on school holidays and hers have gone back to school. But if you want to experience a deeper dive into your human design and start to uncover your identities, she has an offer at the moment, and it's £197 for a 90-minute one-to-one session. So even if you're just curious and you're not yet ready to commit to a 4-month incredibly transformative journey, then that option is there as well for you. But the 4-month container is only $2,997, and you can pay it in full, you can pay it over 3 payments, or you can pay it over 4 payments. And you know, this is a lifetime tool that you get to use forevermore. It's not just you'll be there for 4 months and then you'll forget about it. You'll be so immersed in this that it becomes your spiritual practice, your daily practice. Like, what do I desire to experience this month? Who do I need to be? And you'll know exactly how to create that identity that is going to align with your human design in a way that makes the creation effortless. So if you want to come and join us, we'd love to have you. And I'd love, if you're watching on replay, or if you go away and start looking at your identities, I'd love you to start sharing your identities in the group as well, because acknowledging them is part of the process. So looking at, okay, I can see very clearly, like when it comes to my open root, or when it comes to my open will, or when it comes to my open throat, like this is why I am experiencing life the way I am. So please share in the group, and I will speak to you all soon.